What's that, ladies and gentlemen? That's the Xbox Series X. Welcome, everyone. I can't believe I'm saying this, but for the second day in a row, I'm going to be unboxing a next-gen console. That's right, in here, I've got the brand new Xbox Series X. We're going to be taking a look at everything inside, unboxing it ourselves, doing comparisons, comparing it. How big is this thing? What's the controller like? And all of that good stuff. If you guys are watching this, you're excited for another next-gen console unboxing, hit that thumbs up button, show some love, ladies and gentlemen. And a huge thank you to Microsoft, Xbox UK, and everyone that has made this possible, allowing me to get this early. I am so privileged and so thankful. I was fortunate enough to unbox the PlayStation 5 early yesterday as well. I'll leave a link to that down below and at the end of this video. But let's get into this. Let's start the unboxing. Hit the subscribe button for more next-gen content. And let's take a look inside. If you're wondering why I'm opening it like this. Ooh, the whole package is Xbox branded. What's that, ladies and gentlemen? That's the Xbox Series X. Let's take a closer look at this packaging. On the front, we've got a close-up shot of the top of this new console, this signature Xbox green coloring, which we'll actually take a closer look at once we unbox this thing as well. The Xbox Series X, not to be confused with the Xbox One X, the brand new console, obviously. 4K, 120 FPS, truly next-gen gaming, and a 1 terabyte SSD for super fast loading times and next-gen experience. On the side, we've got a load of technical terms, including 4K gaming with 20 FPS, 8K gaming with HDR, Xbox Velocity architecture, sounds very impressive, the 1 terabyte SSD, variable refresh rate, and 4K Blu-ray player. On the back, power your dreams with, of course, Master Chief and Halo. The fastest, most powerful Xbox yet. Play thousands of games covering 4 generations of Xbox titles. That's really impressive. And with Xbox Game Pass, you can get access to a load of games, which is awesome. Good news is, unlike yesterday's box, this one doesn't look damaged, doesn't look opened at any point, so I'm pretty confident everything's gonna be in here. Now to open it up. I wouldn't recommend using a Fortnite scythe, but it's all I got right now. You don't need a Fortnite scythe, you don't even need a normal knife. The stickers just peel off. Here we go. Woo! Power your dreams. Jeez, I cannot lie. Instant thoughts, I'm just gonna say it. It is a lot smaller than the PlayStation 5. This thing is looking clean. I'm liking the packaging. Let's get it out of the box. All right, we got there eventually. Woo! Look at this, baby. Powering your dreams. I'm sorry, you're coming off. I have no idea which way is up or down. It's this way. I can feel the holes. Let's open it up. Here we go. This is it. The next generation of Xbox. It's worth noting this is the Xbox Series X, the most powerful version of the next generation Xbox console. There's also the Xbox Series S in a slightly smaller form factor, not quite as powerful, but still next generation ready. And this is basically the bad boy of the two. And it looks clean. Just like the PlayStation, yes, you can have it vertically or horizontally. This one's a little bit easier because of its shape. You can just put it in any angle that you want. On the front here, you will see the signature Xbox logo, obviously the power button, the eject button for any discs and games you put into your console, and also what I believe to be the sync button on the bottom right with a USB port as well. On the back of the console, you're going to find yourself more USB ports, an Ethernet port, a power port to obviously power the console, HDMI out, and Xbox's own storage expansion option, which allows you to upgrade the storage of the console super easy. Now, it is worth noting that on both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X here, there is no optical audio cable. I only realized this when I went to plug in my own headset that I couldn't do it. The good news is Turtle Beach's Stealth 600 and 700 headsets are geared and ready to go for the next generation of console gaming, but just a forewarning if you're wondering. Inside, you'll also find a quick start guide. Inside, you'll also find the power cable. Lovely to see both next-gen console power cables being so small and easy to use. You'll also find a HDMI cable as well. This is listed as an ultra-high-speed 2.1 HDMI cable, which will let you take advantage of 8K, 4K 120 FPS, and all of the next-gen offerings for their graphical power. And then we also have the controller. Let's take a look. Also supplied, thankfully, are batteries. Can't lie, find it a little bit odd that in the year 2020, we still have batteries for a controller, but you know what? Could save you sometimes. Batteries in. Let's take a closer look. Now, at first first inspection, if you like the Xbox controller, you're going to really like this because there's not much different at all. The finish to the controller looks a little bit more textured, and I can feel more texture and grip on the back. The D-pad looks to have been optimized and feels really good. Thumbsticks, exactly the same as last gen. You have the same buttons here, but with one additional on the front. This new button is the share button. We know that from PlayStation, Switch. The share button will allow you to take screenshots, share short video clips at the press of a button. It's really useful. Everyone wants to share their clips nowadays. You also have additional grips on the triggers and on the bumpers on the back of the controller, meaning you're definitely going to be holding on easier. You're not going to be losing grip. And as I mentioned earlier, the entire back of this controller, actually this portion here is gripped and textured, and it feels really nice to hold. The front panel is smooth along the top here. Slightly different shape actually to the previous gen Xbox controller. We'll take a closer look at a comparison in a second. One thing Xbox has specifically talked about a lot is a reduction in input lag whilst using this controller on the next gen Xbox. I know coming from both PlayStation and Xbox, the previous gen controllers did have quite nasty input delay. Most people would probably never realize it, but I feel like once they get used to the next gen consoles, they'll start to realize how bad it was on previous gen. Now, when it comes to controllers and the Xbox Series X, the cool thing is because the controllers are so similar, you can go ahead, plug in an older Xbox controller from your Xbox One and still use it perfectly fine to play all of the new games, play any of the old games. It's gonna plug and play. That's the same thing for the older headsets and accessories as well. So a lot of backwards compatibility, not just with physical stuff, but also, as I mentioned before, and as stated on the box, 4 generations of Xbox titles. So that's the original Xbox 360, Xbox One, and of course the newer Xbox Series X. All of that available on your console really easily, which is honestly super impressive, and I think will be a selling point for a lot of people. Now, the big design feature of the Xbox Series X is, of course, the paneling on the top. Those holes, those ventilation to allow the console to run as smoothly as possible, pump out all of the heat and keep on powering those games. The thing is, and I didn't realize this until seeing it in person, the green effect for the top of the console isn't actually an LED or any form of light. It's actually coloring of the plastic within the console itself, and it starts to appear depending on the angle at which you look at the console. Honestly, looks really cool. If you're worried that your 1 terabyte storage is not going to be enough, remembering that the next generation consoles are using super fast SSDs to allow games to run smoother, perform amazingly, you can go ahead and use that slot at the back with the Xbox approved and the correct Xbox SSDs that will allow for that extra expansion, just in case that one Call of Duty download takes up your whole storage. So let's take a closer look at the Xbox Series X versus other consoles, and of course the PlayStation 5. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they're both pretty big in their own right. The PlayStation 5 looks ginormous, but arguably Xbox Series X is just as big. It's just put everything in a little bit differently. It's a little bit wider. And if you've got the volume of both the consoles, I'd say they're maybe a little bit similar, but I'll let you guys decide on which one you think looks better, which one you think is bigger. Leave your comments down below, as this is the very first direct comparison I've been able to show you guys of both the consoles. It's safe to say that compared to any of the previous generation consoles, the new ones are definitely bigger, but with the new technology and everything they're trying to fit inside of it, they're definitely going to be bigger. These things are powerful. Now, as I said earlier, both consoles can be either vertical or horizontal. The Xbox Series X doesn't need a stand for that. However, there is a circular stand which is used at the bottom for when it is vertical. And then there's little pads on the side of the console allowing you to place it horizontally as well. With the PlayStation 5, you use the stand that comes with the console. I actually think I prefer the Xbox Series X being vertical and the PlayStation 5 being horizontal. That's just my preference, but it allows you to put it however you want within your setup. If you guys want me to go more in depth with comparisons, do let me know. And of course, make sure you're subscribed. But moving on, we're going to take a look at the controllers next. I'm going to put my hands up and say straight away that I have definitely preferred PlayStation controllers in the past, and having gotten hands-on with the PlayStation 5 controller yesterday and used it a little bit since that video, I do really like that controller. It seems PlayStation's new controller has grown in size, and actually Xbox Series X controller seems to have shrunk just a little bit. Slight measurement changes around the shape of the controller, meaning it's a tad smaller than the previous gen console, at least in the way that you hold it and grip it. I think most people, if they prefer the Xbox controller in the previous generation, will probably probably continue to do so, but it is worth giving it a go and actually holding the controllers yourself if possible before purchasing to get a good idea of how it feels in your hands. Now, one of the big things about the Xbox controller that I am very interested in is how the thumbsticks feel whilst being used in-game. The Xbox controller always had quite a big dead zone that I wasn't too keen on, which meant you got to move the thumbstick quite a lot before it actually did anything in-game. That could have been altered for this next generation of controller. And if you've never had a share button on your controller before, if you're jumping in and getting the Xbox Series X, you're definitely going to really like it. Being able to save clips and pictures at a click of a button, it's super useful. And in a day and age where we're sharing gaming clips at the click of a button, it makes it really usable. So, taking a look at both of them side by side, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you want to see the PlayStation 5 unboxing, I'll be on screen here. I will have also put up over my second channel an early PlayStation 5 gameplay video where you guys can see the controller in action and also some gameplay. So click either one of those on screen to keep on watching more next-gen action. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you on another video.